Hello and welcome to D&D with High School Students Season 3. Today we are on the road, people, escorting the princess. And where are we going, Beecher? Look on the back of your notes. It's a special place that a lot of people don't know about. It's on the northwestern corner of the righteous domain of Kabul Kailish, and it's called Kadimki Kala. Kadimki Kala. On the road, as you guys embark on your next day.
Next day.
Mm-hmm. You remember?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember what happened? Should we recap?
I remember what happened.
You stopped in a very small. You stopped in a very small village.
Oh yes, I remember.
You spent the
what
night in
happened.
an inn. There were some strange, suspicious things.
Footprints.
You went to investigate. You recruited her to investigate. You went and investigated more. You found some.
That's right.
There was one pair of footprints that seemed to be humanoid size near a chimney on a building across from the inn that you guys were on.
You don't have dice.
Oh, damn it! Someone bring me dice. We don't have dice. That's, you know what? In the old days, we would just say, "We're going. F it. We're going. We're playing without dice."
What does that
I'm
mean?
not 100% sure how that
So
would work.
just
Imaginary.
meta moment.
I rolled a 5.
One time in the 90s, I invented a diceless role-playing game.
What?
Except it wasn't diceless. It was all right, I'll just tell you right now. This is copyrighted. It was called Infinity, the almost diceless role-playing game. I still have the original text documents for it. And by almost diceless, what it meant was that the game was meant to be played without any dice. And
Oh my God,
if
sorry,
you
Croppa.
needed something random, you could play, but you could only use one die.
120 side or
It could be any dice, any die, but you could only use one of them to determine the outcome of the random thing that you were trying to determine. Savvy? So it kind of made it
Neat.
interesting and different. Infinity, the
Wow,
almost diceless role-playing
The
game.
only people I know who say savvy in that context are you, Johnny Depp, and my mother,
Well,
which is an odd pairing.
I definitely stole it from Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah, there we go.
bean.
but it works. All right, today we now have dice. Dice is the plural of die. These provided by our friends at Wizards of the Coast
Thank you.
from Greg
Okay.
Tito
Whoop,
and
whoop.
Dragon Talk. Thanks, Wizards of the Coast.
We love
These
you.
are large, which are great for Bill because my eyes are starting to go away. They're not strong anymore.
Oh.
So I have to sometimes when I read things, I have to do this.
His mustache is becoming more gray.
Wizards live. See, wizards' lives are seldom mundane. I need reading glasses. That sucks, dude. All right, back to the game. So you guys
those
embarked.
seeing?
These are for my far away seeing. What's it called? Nearsightedness. I can't see far, but I also can't see near anymore.
So you
Benjamin
just got all
Franklin
around.
invented
Whoop,
something.
whoop.
This is what I
Get
look like
around
at night if I'm trying to read something on my phone. I'm like this, literally like this close.
That's what my parents.
I don't
No, my mom.
You know you could turn
there's
the
like
text
a
font up,
focus
right?
length.
Yeah.
It's like this far.
Yeah.
This is
And they're
zone.
doing
She can
this.
actually see things
Yeah.
when they're close to her.
God, I was so beautiful and I had so much hair. All right, anyway. So in this game, you guys have proceeded to the next day along the how far is it? About 75-mile trek. Okay. You make it through the bulk of the morning. The configuration seen here is basically what the shield maidens for the Princess Shariza, the niece of His Holiness, Kor Paigambar. He sent you on this mission, you recall, to take her in her strange illness. Remember, they could not figure out what was wrong with her.
Oh, and I serenaded her, and she woke
Yes,
from her ruse.
and during the first day of travel, that's correct, Tony. During the first day of travel, she heard the music of cavemen and emerged ever so briefly. And you saw her closely. She looked very sickly and kind of like confused and very much out of it, like glazed over, like glossy-eyed. But for some reason, your music kind of stirred her. I wouldn't
You
quite
helped
describe
her.
it as being woke, but she was
was
stirred.
shook.
She was. I don't know. I wouldn't say shook. Like if she had just sprung out of the back of the wagon, that might be
And
shook.
she mumbled a couple words, which
Yeah.
are I actually like tinier
Herrera.
men. Then she fell back asleep. Did she not say that?
Never-
I don't.
No.
Are you sure?
She never-
I actually like
She never,
China.
she
never
never,
said that.
she never mumbled that under her
She
breath?
did, however, call
I
out
could've
to.
swore.
She did, however, call out to Rayloff, who you guys know because you met him briefly. But you don't necessarily know the backstory behind why she did that. Okay, you guys are proceeding. In the early morning hours, you're off on the road once again. Periodically, as you make your way through the countryside, you will come across other travelers going in different directions or at crossroads and stuff. These are not huge roads like the ones in the city where they're like, they have gravel or even cobblestone or brick. These are just basically dirt paths that people take on a regular basis, so they're kind of just worn down dirt. They're not very fancy, so your movement is not excessively fast. You're kind of taking an easy pace. That's part of it. The other reason is you're going slowly because the shield maidens and attendants for the princess are concerned that like too much jostling in the wagon would kind of make her sick. So you're proceeding along. Anybody have anything that they particularly want to do or talk about or...
I sort of want to discuss. I want to pull Olin, Olore, and the captain aside, and I do want to discuss the footprint and what measures we're going to be taking in the future, because I heard noises. That little creature, whoever I talked to, I can't read. Mouse. Rat? Rat.
I think it was a
Rat
rat.
pointed the
Large
ceiling.
rat.
I have a feeling he was being very honest, and that worries me. And with the footprint on top of that,
Yeah.
I'm concerned that either A, we're being followed. Well, I'm pretty certain we're being followed. I just don't know if it's something we can see, and that concerns me a lot.
The captain, you guys kind of like pull closer to the front because he doesn't want the princess to overhear this conversation and become like alarmed. He doesn't want to stress out the princess. So he kind of like, you guys all kind of move up towards the front wagon, and he's explaining to you guys that it's entirely possible that you could be being followed. With all the strange things that have been going on recently, it wouldn't be a surprise to him. He also tells you that there was very recently, within the last month or so, an attempt by a criminal organization to steal some sacred and holy objects from a temple. And he goes on to explain that about a month ago, during the summer wine festival, which is kind of like the transition between summer and fall, in the town of Dario Larchari, which is to the south of the kingdom, that there was this criminal organization who had this enormous plot and raided a temple and attempted to steal these sacred objects from the temple, and ultimately were thwarted. They were defeated, but...
I'd like to use Mage Hand really quick with Olin,
Okay.
and I go, should this have been mentioned to us before?
Why Mage Hand? Mage Hand's like an invisible hand.
Oh, no, not Mage Hand. What's my, message? Message is my thing. And I'm just kind of like, I feel like we should have had this mentioned to us before, especially since it involves another equinox and the touching and tampering with of holy relics.
So you're like... And like, the captain's like, do you have a question about something? He's like,
No.
why are you whispering?
I'm gonna
Just
nothing. And I'm gonna-
concerned.
He's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this had no direct impact with the princess, other than the fact that she had been attending the summer wine festival.
Okay.
Think her wine was tainted?
What's that?
Do you think her wine was poisoned or tainted?
Well, not with anything. No. If it was simply something like a poison,
You would have known long
yeah,
ago.
we have plenty of healers who can like cure that
Fix
kind of
that.
problem. We don't think that her illness. Well, I only know what I've been told. Okay, and you guys probably know more than I, because you have been in council with His Holiness and the Archbishop and all those people. But I've been told that it's not something simple as like a poison or a disease that the priest could have removed through divine intervention.
Can I ask you? Sorry.
But it is true that she was escorted from Daryalar Shari back to the capital city of Poitax Shahar by the same heroes who actually stopped that criminal attempt to steal the holy relics. And I believe that you met some of them at least. Rayloff was one of them.
Yeah.
There were a few others who escorted the princess from Daryalar Shari to Poitax Shahar. And but it is possible that, maybe the same criminal organization who tried to steal those holy relics from the temple in Daryalar Shari are now trying to, follow us in some
Way.
attempt
right.
to perhaps kidnap the princess, to ransom her, or something else like that. I'm not really sure what their intention would be, but
Well, what my fear is, Captain, and I do not know anything about this criminal organization, but whatever.
they're called the Red Star. It's not really one organization. The Red
They're
Star is kind of a
collection,
coalition.
yes,
Yeah,
of
they're a bunch
these.
of different guilds and gangs who kind of have this loose affiliation.
Right.
But
So there's probably some skilled men, but I don't know. There was no trace of this person other than this one footprint we found, which scares me. Just simply because whoever it is, was swift enough to be around us in this hotel and leave next to no trace. That is skillful, and there's a lot of us, and we're not, soldiers. We're all very skilled at what we do. Probably some of the best in Poitax Shahar. I'm just nervous that whatever's following us could even have some arcana power. And
well, yes, that's
I'm
entirely
nervous.
possible.
what's our next stop, Captain, that you plan to stop at along the way?
Yes, there is probably a few hours after lunch. We should make it to the next village, and it's another small village. It's not a town. It's definitely not a city, but it's a good stopping point prior to the last stretch of the journey, because the last stretch of the journey is not something you want to push into night, because as you get closer to the mountains, there may be random beasts, creatures, wild creatures,
Right.
that sort of thing that you'd rather see from afar during the day when you can deal with them than to have them lurking around at night while
Captain.
you're in a camp. So our strategy is just to get to the village middle of the afternoon. We can rest, no big hurry, spend the night there in the inn, and then in the morning we'll finish up the last stretch, and it'll probably be another 5 to 6 hours, and then we'll reach Kadim Gigala.
Is there any way that we can send some sort of small party of possible scouts, no more than 2 or 3, forward ahead to the village ahead of time, sort of to scout it out? Because the other thing that scares me is if they know where we're going somehow, I'd kind of like to see if we can get the jump on them by surprise, or be able to ask the locals ahead of time if they've seen people.
He's like, well, that is actually quite a good idea. We don't have any of our scouts. I brought my guards, my knights.
I'd be happy to
They're
go ahead.
armored.
Yeah, I can go ahead too.
I
And
could. She could turn into an animal, and I could probably.
I am an animal.
If you
Oh right. I was thinking of
Skyla.
Skyla for a second. I'm sorry.
if you
Sorry, Laura.
if you guys wanted to do that, that would be fine.
Are you?
I suppose we could
Burst
kind
of
of
speed.
stop for a longer lunch to give you a head start,
Okay.
and then
That'd
we
be
would
fine.
probably arrive. I still don't want to be traveling at night though.
No,
so
we
like,
would, we
at
would travel.
most you
We would
guys
travel
get
quickly.
an
She's
hour.
quick, and I'd be riding Hank.
That's
who-
all we need.
Yeah, we.
If you ate a very quick lunch
I don't need to
and
eat.
ate road rations, you could easily get there an hour ahead of us.
Captain, to be frank, I believe I can just wait till dinner. And then I kind of like grin and give him a little wink.
Very
in
well.
a
Yes.
Playish kind of way.
I will. Before you leave, let me just let the princess's shield maidens know that this is our arrangement, that you'll be scouting ahead.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I can't spare any horses.
That's fine.
The
We'll
additional
survive.
horses that we have tethered for the wagons is kind of in an emergency situation. So
no, of course, I understand.
I do believe. Well,
Can one of them teleport us?
well, they don't have any wizards with them, but he's like, let me talk to the shield maidens, and just make sure that that's okay. So he kind of walks back there. You see him talking with them for a little bit, and they like look back and forth. You can see him kind of like nod and stuff. So he comes back to me and he's like, okay, what we'll do is we'll travel together for another, say, hour. When we stop for a break and for lunch, you guys would just continue on, and that interval should give you enough time to get in advance
Okay.
and scope things out. The inn that we are staying at, we sent letters ahead, so we have reserved the inn similarly to last night. The Anchor Well is the name of the inn, and it's a reputable inn for as far as a small village goes, but it should be ample space. I was told that there is a cluster of 4 rooms in the upper level and 3 rooms in the lower level. And other than that, you probably want to just scout that out. One more thing. He goes up to the front wagon and he like beckons one of the stewards that's in there, and he's like, "Could I have the scroll?" He's pulls out a scroll and he unrolls it. He's like, "Yes, this is it." He's like, "This is the directive from the Archbishop stating our purpose and ensuring the payment from the crown. So you shouldn't have any problems." You notice that it has the seal of Kabul Kailish and Kor Paigambar. So he hands that to you, and he's like, "All right." So you guys travel on for about another 45 minutes. And by the way, this is pretty much open. Periodic like small bamboo groves, and then you'll get little trees, fruit trees. It's a very fertile land. Some tall grass areas, a lot of like little streams, little wetland kind of streams, prairie areas. And then eventually you guys kind of stop about midday, and they circle up around the wagons. The servants start getting out and preparing food, and then the captain's like, "Okay, we'll stay here and give you a little lead time to scout things out and check out the inn, make sure all of our accommodations are safe,
Okay.
and we'll meet you in the village."
All right. Can I take a moment to talk to Allura and Owen? Because
Yeah.
something is popping in
So,
my head.
Sure.
so basically, I'm going to set them up in camp since you guys are going to be
Part of
traveling.
me is, should one of us stay behind? I don't want to split the party, obviously.
I can set Jaquan.
Because you don't have Jaquan.
Yeah, I do. I brought him back.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
He's alive.
Because I'm concerned to leave them here. Because I know these soldiers are ample, or now you said it, now I'm saying it. I know the soldiers are fine, but
In case anything
I'm just
happens.
concerned with leaving them.
I'll send you
Fine.
Jaquan.
So
and I
just
can-
as a meta thing, the shield maidens are 10th level paladins. Like you guys would know based on the fact that like they're protecting a member of the royal family. Like those two by themselves could probably defeat like
could defeat
50
of us.
red demon babies. You know what I mean? Like without breaking a sweat. And then on top of that, they have 2 halberdiers, 2 swordsmen, like 2 knights, 2 crossbowmen, the captain, and like 10 other servants on top of that. So
I think we might be
they're
okay.
like,
All
you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
them.
that's fine. All right, sorry.
But it's I mean,
Just
and
worry about
the only reason why I'm meta-momenting that is because like I didn't maybe explain like these aren't like
You said they were good soldiers.
they're
but I
not
didn't
city
know
guards.
To what
like the
level.
city guards are one thing.
Right.
These are like actual soldiers
In my head,
the,
I was
in
thinking
the military.
like the best city guards. But even in my head, that was like.
Yeah, these are like
Don't risk it.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
these
I
are
know.
pretty
Okay.
pretty
I'm
competent
sorry.
guys.
I didn't want to
I'm
do that.
joining. I would like to join.
Yeah,
Alright,
no,
go.
we're all going.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
So you don't have
Yeah, no, I didn't
horses,
include you in that first one. That was.
but your walking pace is pretty reasonable. But you guys head out, and you know the direction. Like he told you, kind of where you're going. It's basically just continuing west, and he gives you a description of like when you're gonna get to like a hilly area, and as you proceed through the hilly area, you're gonna see a series of waystones where there's basically stacked up boulders that have like carvings on them that tell you directions, and that like when you get to the waystone in the hilly area, then you'll see like a split, and you kind of go northwest from there
Okay.
Okay.
towards the village.
Okay.
And then
Wait.
the name of the inn is the Anchorwell Inn.
No, I thought it should be
Yeah. My northwest. All right. So you guys continue along. Beecher,
Yes.
roll a
Where's your other D20?
percentile. Why is that? Is that Kit missing a dice, or are there no?
No, he has it.
47. Okay. So you guys travel along for the first hour.
Okay.
Very dull. Basically, you're just walking. It's warm because you're in a Mediterranean climate. You occasionally pass by like a farm. There are rows and rows of fruit trees. Some farmers see you on the road, they wave, whatever. There are a lot of animals, like a lot of small animals.
Can I talk
Like-
to a couple of them just
Sure.
see if
Yeah.
if they've seen anything?
Yeah.
Nothing
Yep.
really.
No,
Yeah.
nothing really, just pretty quiet. The road's pretty quiet. You continue for about another hour, and the land starts to get a little more like hilly, not mountainy, just hills. Like you could still see, but it's a little more hilly.
Got a little curve to it.
Yeah, and again, trees. Some groves of trees, and then it'll be like open land, and then little streams and stuff like that. And you go over a small like wooden bridge, and by small I mean like the size of this table, over a creek. And then you kind of the path kind of goes up, and it goes up for a little ways. You go through the hills, and again you hear birds, animals. You see a couple deer running through the prairie. Nothing nothing out of the ordinary. And you go through this hilly area, and then you eventually come to a stretch of road where down the road you see a stack, probably 12 feet tall, of really big rocks. It's like somebody ground down 3 big boulders and then somehow got them stacked up onto each other. And you get closer, you get up to the rocks, and you notice that there's like inscriptions and arrows kind of pointing, right? So the writing, no.
Click
Turn
the
off your
side.
phone. Click the off button.
No.
That scared me.
So you notice that the writing is not like in the common language of Kabul Kailish. It looks like the symbols are a lot older, but next to each of the symbols in the arrows are like directions basically written, right? So you see like one of them's west, there's another split that goes south, and there's another one that goes northwest.
We take that one.
Yeah, we take
We-
the
we
northwest
go-
one.
Okay. So you guys kind of deviate and you start going down that path. And again, you're in a hilly area, so you kind of dip down a little bit, you come back up a little bit, you dip down. Everybody make a perception roll.
It's not. That's 20, right?
9.
9.
Okay. So you
We don't see anything.
it doesn't seem like there's anything out of the ordinary. You kind of continue, and again, because it's hilly, sometimes the path like kind of dips down and you curve around.
Okay.
And there will occasionally be like wooden posts that are probably like 6-8 feet tall,
Oh,
and there's arrows pointing on them. So it's almost like smaller versions of what these waystones were doing, kind of like pointing you in the right direction, you know, signposts. And you guys come to a very big kind of hill where it's probably like 100 foot up, right? But it's not a steep incline. It's like very gradually, but it's definitely the kind of thing where like you kind of come around a corner and there's trees and the path continues up and you can't really see beyond the hill, but it goes up for a while and it kind of elevates higher, so you can't see the horizon that far.
I'm gonna roll perception again.
Okay. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking for. Oh, you know what? Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to do. I think shatter, where everything around or fairy fire, right? Yeah, and everything is kind of like lit up and stuff with like a really bright light.
Wait, but is it the daytime?
Yeah.
But
It's like middle of
but
the
there's
afternoon.
forests like on either side of the path.
So
correct?
fairy fire would outline any creatures or people with a fairy fire outline, right?
That's bright that we'd be able to see it, right?
Yeah. If anything was invisible and in that range, it would also outline anyone
Right.
invisible.
Which is kind of what I want to check.
What's
for.
your range, though? That's what you
It's
want to
100
check.
feet, I think. Make sure. It's a 20-foot cube. So it's pretty near and about. I thought
It's
it was
pretty
really-
limited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
alright, so I'll just roll perception then.
Use.
I don't know, I'm looking for just anything, just still anything out of the ordinary, anything
Okay.
weird.
Can I just look? Can I roll perception and just look for like footprints around us?
Yes.
I'm gonna send Jaquan to the skies
7.
and have him roll perception.
Good. Roll.
Would I get advantage because
Sure.
I'm Jaquan and I
18.
can see everything?
18.
You don't find any
4.
footprints
Ah. Yeah.
4.
other than like things that were obviously. No, you know what? You don't see any footprints. Like on the original road before you guys deviated, there was, like I told you, you'd come across, like when you were traveling with the whole group, you'd come across wagons and other people traveling. But on this path, like
It's
since
like
you
w-
split
odd-
off,
Alright, there's something going on.
it doesn't look as well traveled. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like the difference
That's fine.
between driving down a main street and like a side
It's
street.
like a back road.
Alright,
Yeah, it's kind of back roady.
I just say everyone be really on alert.
Okay.
Just like weapons drawn, just be ready for shit.
So here's
Sorry.
what I'm gonna show you. You guys are moving along, right? You can't like there's this mountainous space here. I'm just gonna use this as a sample because it's better than books. So here, there's like a big hill, right? And you can't really see over the hill. But then when you get over to the crest of the hill, you notice like a small, like it descends down into a small open, I don't want to say a valley because there aren't really mountains around, but there's like woods and stuff, and you see a village in the distance, like 500 feet in the distance, you know what I mean? Like several football fields away. But the village looks strange. Like you don't see anyone around and you don't hear anyone around, and the buildings don't look right.
Is it the village that we're going to?
Yeah, it's the village that you guys are supposed to be going to.
I say we just go check it out. Just everyone be really,
So-
really on alert.
As you guys are going, you notice that like the problem with the village is that a lot of it seems to be destroyed. Like you notice that it's not so much a village as it is like ruins.
Dude, it's
And
the
you see buildings.
it's the huge thing of the barbarians. Remember how
Here,
they were
Sam,
doing
put
that to
this-
people, and Bill kept
that
going,
over
"Oh, but they'll come back." What are they
Too
called?
far.
The
Quotient.
quotient.
Put
I
that
don't
over
think
there.
it's the quotient.
Really? Because that sounds like that. It's burnt down buildings in like a
Doesn't hear
very,
you at all.
like I don't know, culty kind of way.
Wow, this looks intense, bro.
Are there animals around, Bill?
This one might be my favorite.
Yeah, that
Look
one
at
looks
that
That's
second
really
floor.
cool.
That looks really good.
Sick. Are there animals around, Bill? Like birds?
This is too big though. There's no castle-sized building. Tony, that is a great question. In your infinite ability to perceive, you notice that there are some birds and some small animals around.
All right, can I kind of like ask him like, hey guys, like what happened to this village? Why is it all burnt down and stuff?
You reach out and you get like a little bird that flies over to where you're at, and you ask about the village, and the bird, not being capable of truly speaking, so it's not going to give a lot of detail, it kind of conveys like a sense of dread and fear. Like it circles, it jumps off your shoulder and it circles around, and then it flies away from the village, and then it circles back to you. And at that point, you notice in the tree lines off to the side and the hills, you notice there's like, you see like a rabbit, and some other birds, but you don't see any birds, life, creatures, humanoids anywhere near this village.
I say we go back to the guards, actually, low key, because I think we need to like avert the, what do you call it, that caravan.
I'm gonna continue.
Away from.
I think we should continue.
I want to investigate the place a little more.
Can you send Jaquan to go tell everybody?
Can
what we
you?
saw?
Sure. I mean,
Do you have, what is it? Pact of the...
I do. I have Pact of the Chain, and I also
And
have
how does
Voice
that
of
work?
the Chain Master.
Read it.
I've read it on the show before.
Sorry, I read it
Communicate telepathically with familiar and perceive through its senses. I can talk to the familiar as well.
Okay. So he could send Jaquan back, and he could talk through Jaquan.
Can they talk through Jaquan back to Beecher?
Yes, because he can perceive through Jaquan's senses.
So what's the
That's
issue?
what
Why
I'll
are you
do.
all Bill smiling about it?
I'm not. I'm just glad that you're using
Oh.
your abilities. That's
I thought you were gonna be like, well, we sent
I'll do
Jaquan
that.
and like he's
I
eaten
will
by
do
like
that.
hawks or something.
So you send Jaquan, and about a
tell
half an
him
hour
to-
later, you sense that he's been eaten by hawks. No, I'm just kidding.
God, I would
I
have.
was like, I knew it.
How long do you wait? Like, do you guys wait here? Or are you just like
No,
standing at the top of the
we
hilltop?
tell him and we go.
Yeah, I'm going in. I'm gonna say when you get there, let me know,
Or
Jaquan.
should we wait until Jaquan gets to them and then go in? Because what if something bad happens to them and the message hasn't been sent yet?
Can't you just tell Jaquan ahead of time what the message is?
Jaquan, call me. If I don't answer, tell them that the town looks super duper fishy, and this is definitely not.
And
the
it's
town that we
destroyed.
signed
Make sure he
up
tells
for.
him it's not like
It's
just
destroyed.
fishy. It's destroyed and burnt. to the
Jaquan, you
ground.
can see the town.
Because I don't
This
want
does not
Jaquan.
look like
what
a
you
normal
see.
town.
I don't want
to you.
Jaquan to get there and they're like, so is it fishy? Like, is there just something weird about it? And he's just like, I don't know. It's just fishy. And they're just like, all right,
like-
well, let's still go to the thing.
Yes, master, I will go. And then he
Go, Jaquan.
get him,
he
Jaquan.
unfurls from your neck and
Go,
zips
Go
off,
get him, Jaquan. You got
flying
it.
off
God, I love
invisibly.
Jaquan.
All right, you three stand at the top of a hill overlooking the ruins of a village.
I want to go
I'm going in.
investigate.
I
Please
wanna
do.
investigate.
Okay.
So point
Okay,
to
I
an
do as
area
well.
that you want to investigate.
I want to
first.
come to.
I want to check out this wall. all
How
the
are
way at
you
the end.
investigating? I'm just curious. Are you
I'm
just
gonna-
strolling
I'm
right
walking
in?
through, scythe in hand, reviewing
I know what
my
I'm gonna do.
spells.
I'm gonna do the outside perimeter by where the trees are.
Roll stealth.
Okay.
Are you stealthing in, or are you just walking in with Tony?
I'm
I
walking like a
waltz
badass.
in. I waltz
I waltz in.
I have 4.
You're
Or
on.
9 in total.
Because they've seen us by now. They know we're here.
Okay, so you guys are gonna split up, which is never a good idea, and all the people watching are gonna think that you're idiots, but that's fine. That's totally fine.
She's
you
gonna
come
be our
across
savior when
ruins.
we get through.
She's stealthing along on the flank. You guys are going this way. and
I message Allure throughout the whole time. I'm just kind of
Okay.
like, do you see anything? Are you okay?
Shut up, I'm not done.
What's your range on message?
just want to make sure.
Shut up. Message. What's your range?
Bill, shut up. My message is infinite and goes.
It's not. Is it infinite? No,
It's not it.
Shut up.
Bill.
Side note. I think I want to make a character whose whole purpose in life is just to mess with people, like all the all the
Is it
time,
just a troll?
and take all the stupid little cantrips that are like all about like illusions and tricks and stuff, and like just like whispers and stuff.
That's awesome.
That'd be a
That's
good
gonna
one.
happen.
You know, it'd be great because the messages go to people even if they don't know, right? No.
Oh, it's
you have
120 feet. So
Yeah.
you can definitely.
So I'm checking in with Samantha throughout the whole time just to make sure that she's okay.
Okay.
Who's Samantha?
Alore. I'm checking in with Alore throughout the thing.
Yeah.
just to
Except
make
when
sure
she
she's
goes
okay.
around and she's going through
You're a nerd.
a lot of things.
You have a tail.
So, Bill,
Oh, it can go freely around corners or through openings. Look at that. Yeah.
thing about the
Come on,
voice of the
that
Chain
Penelope
Master,
Cruz plays.
it is as long as we're on the same plane of existence. So.
Well, it's going to be a while before Jaquan
got
gets
it.
No, I
back
know.
to
I know.
that.
I'm just
All
saying,
three.
like, if you were doubting.
But Jaquan's flight is going to be much faster because he's not constrained to like a path. He's flying directly back east to pick them up. So he's hauling. You guys get to this corner.
Okay.
You see what used to be some kind of stables, maybe. It looks like there's like some farm implements in here, but you're not sure. Like a lot of it's been destroyed.
I want to find
Um,
the inn where we were gonna stay.
okay.
See if there was any
Make-
kind of.
I'm gonna let you make an investigation roll
sorry.
at this building. Each one.
Bill,
of
am
you
I
guys.
missing? I think I had a die that rolled that way. Does anyone have an extra 20?
11, Bill.
Oh no, my 20's right here. Ooh.
11.
Total 11.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no.
You guys are kind
I
of
got a 7.
investigating around here. You don't really see anything odd.
Great. You've
Hey,
been rolling really bad.
I'm just investigating.
Okay.
Oh,
This
wow.
whole building complex looks like a much bigger place. It doesn't look like an inn,
Okay.
but it looks like maybe it was like
City
a common house or a city hall, something like that. So there's a lot of debris, but basically you kind of carefully climb over and you're kind of looking around and investigating. Go ahead and make a roll.
19.
Hmm.
Sorry, my throat is dying right
You, in this building, see evidence of destruction, burn marks, as if some of it was, or a lot of it was burned.
now. Okay.
And then as you're kind of going through, you notice that what's left of the floor, of the wooden floor, that didn't like fall through into the foundation.
Yeah.
You notice a very small part where there's like a pool of dried blood. Like you could see obviously like, oh, that's like dried blood.
Check to see if there's a body because there hasn't been any bodies.
But there's
thus
no
far.
body. And you thoroughly search and you don't
Can
find any body.
Is there any way that I would be able to know if it's like old?
Mm-hmm.
Can I do that?
You don't even have to roll.
Oh,
You had a 19.
Yeah.
You could tell that it's old.
How old though? Like a couple days old, or like
Roughly-
a
I'll let you
week
make a
old?
medicine check. I like to use skills that most people don't have.
17.
Hey, look at you, smarty pants. You're like, this is like probably like a week old.
Oh,
Okay.
jeez. Okay.
So,
So I
We
can't
don't know
message
that,
him.
by the way.
Yeah.
you
Although I'm gonna.
actually you
message
could.
Sam here
It's
in a
within
second.
120 feet.
Yeah, but I can't do it to him.
You can respond. So he checks in with you and you respond, right?
Say,
Yeah, because I've been checking in with her.
So you
too.
hear him say like, "Do you see anything over there? We haven't found anything in ours."
I found a pool of blood that is about a week old. And it's a big pool of blood.
I'm gonna tell Olin.
Okay, cool.
She found a pool of blood that's about a week old, but no body. She searched everywhere.
I'm gonna start wandering over to that building.
Okay. As you approach, you see, like, from that wall, you see clearly that there's, like, the town symbol and what's left of, you know, the seal of Kabul Kailish. So it looks like maybe some official building of some kind. It's mostly in ruins, but you see an area where the building collapsed in the corner where you can kind of probably get in. So you make your way across this open space. Make a, what's your passive perception?
I don't have that.
It's
down.
10 plus, do you have the perception proficiency?
Nope.
No?
I have 0 perception. So is it 10?
It's 10. So you I'm assuming cautiously kind of move in there, and you see Allure like looking at this spot. And there's a lot of debris, areas where the ceiling collapsed. You see scorch marks from where things were burned. A lot of just rampant destruction. Like, almost like a tornado just wiped this place out. Except there's also burn marks and other kinds of destruction.
I want to go check out this wall back here, Bill.
Okay, so you go and look at the spot that she's pointing at, and you see now,
Oh, sorry.
it's hard to see, like, how she found it, because there's so much debris all over the place, but, like,
Yeah.
there's a couple boards that, like, collapsed and were kind of covering the spot, and she, like, points down there, and you could see now that it looks like blood that had soaked in, like, to the floorboards,
Yeah.
to the extent where, like, it stained the floorboards, and it's obviously dried blood, and she kind of, like, pops open a claw and, like, scrapes it off, and you see, like, this powdered, like, kind of old blood.
Ew. Yummy.
You're just gonna walk over there?
This wall back here.
All right, so as you're walking this way, what's your passive perception?
My perception is 1.
You have
it's
this.
11?
You have proficiency in perception.
I don't know what that is.
Is there a black
There-
dot next to the perception skill?
No.
Okay, so you have an 11.
Yeah.
Okay. You see this smaller building as you're walking to the back corner.
Yeah.
This smaller building looks like some kind of, maybe it was a shop at some point. You see, like, through the wall that's breached, it looks like maybe a small, like, blacksmith shop or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go check that out actually.
Okay. You see a lot of, like, destruction, but you also see a lot of the things that were in there that are obviously still intact. So, like, the shelving and the walls and, like, the structure has all been, like, beat up and destroyed.
Wow. It
But you
almost
see,
sounds
like,
a huge horde that needed weapons. Used
no,
the shop.
you see horseshoes, like, just sitting, they're perfectly fine. You see, like, tools, like metal tools that have been forged. They're just, like, laying on the ground like they were on a shelf and they just collapsed. You even see, like, a few swords and axe heads, knives, like, all this stuff just kind of
Are they nice?
abandoned. They're fine.
Can I take
Like,
some of it?
you can shop through, and there's an entire, basically, like, tool set.
All right, I tell them over there. I give them a little whisper, just like, "Yo, guys, if you want like
You hear
Tools and shit,
Caveman
like-
whispering to you guys.
there's an entire abandoned shop over here with like stuff that's still.
There's,
good.
like,
it's like knives, horseshoes,
forks,
tools.
spoons, like
Yeah.
anything that you that a blacksmith would make.
Yeah, blacksmith stuff.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go over there.
Okay, so you guys move over there.
Wait, before I go over there,
Mhm.
I want to. Is there like a basement or anything to this?
There's no basement. There's just, like, where the floor collapsed. It was just like a
Cool like that.
what do you call that thing?
A ditch.
What's underneath a house that doesn't have a basement?
Concrete
Uh,
foundation.
Yeah,
It's just foundation.
crawl space. That's what I meant. Crawl
Oh,
space.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's like a foundation and rocks and stuff. But there, you peek under there. You have dark vision. You, like, look around. There's doesn't seem like there's anything there.
Okay. I'll hold over here.
Okay, so as you guys are scoping out this smaller building, it definitely looks more and more like a blacksmith shop, and the upper level, though mostly collapsed, seems to be maybe where, like, the blacksmith lived, because there's, like, some dressers and stuff, and there's
And is
still,
that
like, clothes
intact?
in there.
Okay, so,
and there's,
so it's all intact. Okay.
yeah, it's all dusty and beat up and stuff, and half of the ceiling collapsed over it. But, like, as you're investigating, you notice, like, it's just there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does this blacksmith have a diary, by chance? If I look for it, or a journal?
You search thoroughly, and you don't see any journal.
Okay.
You do see a ledger on the first floor of, like, the business
I would-
transactions,
I would
and
like
some
to
of
look
it's,
at that
like,
ledger.
burned up. But, like, you flip through it, it basically just looks like
What was the most recent?
excellent. So you see that about 10 days ago there was a transaction where he sold, like, a set of horseshoes and some metal tongs.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm.
Should happen
And
about
then
10
the
days
rest of the
ago.
book's blank.
Bill, can I make an investigation around, just kind of, I don't know, just around? Because I want to see if there's any trace of which direction they're headed.
Think if there's any footprints or anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Anybody who wants to search the area for like footprints, tracks, that kind of
Any
stuff,
kind
make
of
a
thing I'd give
survival
away.
roll. I'll also let you substitute investigation.
Oh, come on.
So if you want to make, instead of survival, you want to make an investigation roll, that's fine.
I'm gonna count that as a 19. I got a 20, Bill. Not
I
natural.
don't know where the dice went.
Okay.
I'm gonna
20.
search for it in a second here, but where did that dice go? Alright, I'm gonna find it in a second, Bill. To wizards of the coast, know that I love and appreciate that die, and I will find it
Okay.
in a moment's notice. Just roll on this.
It's under
Yes,
the
19.
chair.
Wow.
19.
I
Wait,
got-
plus.
Investigation or survival.
Let me see what's more. Investigation is +3. Survival is
All the way back.
+2. All right, so I'll
Oh,
do
investigation.
21. So
and
I
I
get
got
21.
a 24.
I got 20.
Wow, you guys are killing it.
Yeah.
Tell me how long you spend investigating. You're going beyond just this building, right? Because you said you're trying
Yeah,
to find
yeah.
tracks.
Spent a half an hour.
All right, so you guys spend a half an hour. By the way, while you're searching and investigating, that building in the corner is definitely what's left of the inn. The entire second floor collapsed in, and there's rubble everywhere. But while you're digging through, you notice a similar motif as what you found in the blacksmith shop, which is there's some intact things that looks like it was just left. Like there's food. There's like dry food in the kitchen of the inn that's still there, and it's like not spoiled.
Are there any things
There's
that,
grains. There's like herbs and stuff. There's like dressers and furniture.
What seems to be missing or burnt?
I mean, there's things that are burned. The
Right.
roof
Is there
collapsed.
any kind of-
But like, there's even like clothes in the inn. There's like
I'm
bottles
trying
of wine, and there's like a cask of ale that wasn't damaged. You do notice
I'm just trying-
after your thorough and extensive successful searching, as you remove some debris from the inn, you notice that again on the floorboards, like soaked in, is this old puddles of blood, like in multiple locations.
So it kind of feels like they had a hit.
Why would they take the bodies?
Why is there nothing?
Evidence.
Speaking of that, you look around. The first thing you notice is that there are not any fresh
Traces.
tracks that you see in terms of horse, like hooves, or wagons or carts, like wagon wheels. You don't see anything that's even remotely within the last week or so. After extensive searching, though, you do notice that there's footprints, like all over the town, coming and going from different areas, and that they all kind of seem to lead southwest, like this way out of town, and not on a road, just like literally out of town, and then you track them for about 50 yards before they start to go into like a wooded area.
Okay. Has Jaquan called me yet?
Let me think.
Got herself a
No.
real-
So you
real
check in with
island.
Jaquan. You're like, Jaquan, where are you? And you experience his senses. You see that he's flying over the lands, and in fact, you recognize now that he's kind of flying back over the main road. So he's definitely well on his way, but he's not quite there.
Dope. You said that there was like a tree line along the sides, right?
So imagine like where Tony and Beecher are sitting, like
Yeah.
another few feet that way,
Okay.
there would be trees.
And what about this way?
This way would be the road continuing towards Kadimki Kala. But you don't see any tracks that are fresh, like leading that way. Like, you find like some wagon ruts to the northwest,
Yeah.
like 50 yards out of town, that look like maybe when there was a rainstorm, a wagon got stuck. And that's why the ruts are deep. But nothing recent. There's no like recent hoof prints,
Can I
recent
see if
wagon.
can we look around? I kind of want to see if I can find it's like a farmer or something. is like around somewhere that has seen all this.
I'll point out too, by the way, that at no point did you see any living creatures in this area. Like, there, like, you know how I told you that you found food in the inn? There was no rats, no squirrels, raccoons digging through it.
Is there any way I can check to see if there's any kind of arcana feel? Is
You
there
have, like detect magic or something?
Yeah.
Well, there's spells, but that's different from arcana. Like, if you want to make an arcana check, it would basically be to try to see if anything here represented the use of magic,
No, I wouldn't want to.
which you don't really see.
Is there like a hill going that way?
It's kind of flat for a little bit, like, but a couple hundred yards down the road, it becomes hilly again.
I kind of want if they're heading southwest, if that's where the footsteps are heading.
I want to go up the
That is
road.
in the direction we came northwest. Okay, so it's not going towards the princess, which is good. I say we scout out the road up ahead because right now what I'm thinking is princess is probably still going to pass through here.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, they're
'cause,
gonna
right,
have to if
As of
this
right
is-
now, I don't see any signs of imminent danger.
Yeah. There's literally like nothing.
You know what I mean? I feel like I want to scout 50 yards down the road. I want to check the perimeter again of like the whole wooded area and everything. Make sure there's no one trying to ambush us.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking right now, she's probably going to go through this. They're headed southwest, which means they're not heading towards Kalkim Kala. Hopefully. But I do want to go down that road, just see, at least to the next village.
Yeah.
Because she's also going to need somewhere to sleep tonight.
Beecher, what do you think?
Bill, as we actually, I have iron spikes. How many spots could I cover with iron spikes? Effectively cover
In what way? Like to make a trap?
to make it so people could not travel over it as easy as they thought they would be able to.
That would be difficult because if you like staggered them in the road, for example, like anybody who sees them could just like go off the road into the grass and go around. You know what I mean?
Okay. On the road leading out, I'm gonna set up iron spikes
Okay.
on the road.
Cover them in like dirt though or something.
The iron spikes are typically for like climbing, but you can rig it so that you kind of pound them into the ground so
no.
they're sticking up.
I have.
Wait, what
don't
are
wait,
what
don't
are
bother
iron
doing that
spikes
because I
then?
have.
I think I have a different
I have.
idea of what they are than you do.
Are you thinking of caltrips?
Yep.
Yeah,
Like
I
the
have
little-
caltrips.
Okay.
I'm thinking
I have
Yeah.
20 of them.
All right. Yeah, you can scatter caltrips around. Sure.
Cover them in something.
What are
Can we
iron
cover them in
spikes?
like dirt or
For
something?
climbing, like pythons, like
Oh,
like
okay.
bang a spike
Hey,
in.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
hard for our party to get out though. If we bring everybody. Well, I'm hoping we don't camp here though tonight either. So I don't see much of a point in that. 'Cause
Okay.
there's no
I
way we
was
let
just-
everybody
that
camp
was under
here.
the impression that we were camping, but I
No,
don't think
I
it's
wouldn't
gonna
let
be
us camp
either.
here, dude. Because think about it. It feels too weird. I mean, I'm
Yeah, no,
hoping
it's
this
sketchy.
isn't too much of a danger for us just to pass through quickly with the princess and everybody, because we've been here for a while. We're making noise. If there was something here, like just like savage,
know
that would be
They
of any
know we're
danger, we should be fine. If there's someone trying to ambush us, that's another situation. But we would have no way of knowing until we investigate.
So, what do you
Then-
guys want to do? What are you
How
thinking?
how far out from town do you go? Do you like go into the woods to scout things out? Do you go up the road, and for how long?
I want to go up the road for about 20 minutes worth of walking.
All together, or are you separating?
I think we should go all together.
I agree.
Okay.
Right
You
now.
guys go up the road. After laying out your caltrips in this little configuration, you guys go up the road. You walk a ways. It does kind of the hilly thing for a while, and then it sort of levels out. And after that kind of emergence is where you see, I mean, and this is still miles away, but you see the outline of like mountains way in the distance, like on the horizon. So you know that like that's the direction towards Kadim Kikala. As far as you can see, like it's open land. You don't see anything particularly
I
different.
would say we should camp in the open. because that way we can at least.
There's little groves of
Groves.
trees and stuff like that, and periodic like.
But here's the
scattered
thing:
scrubs.
if someone's coming for us and they're coming for us and they know where we are probably already, there's no sense in trying to like hide in the brush. I say our best chance is to be, because whatever did this, I don't think this is an individual. This seems like some sort of army or at least gaggle of people. You know what I mean? Like
The town, from what it looks like, the town was destroyed to be destroyed. Doesn't
Right.
really seem like there was any intention in doing
right.
it.
So that's why I would say camp in the open. That way, if we see him coming, there's some sort of escape route. Hopefully. Does
I'm not.
anyone
I'm
does
not
anyone
the one to make
disagree?
decisions about how we are camping.
I know
but-
that's the captain, but I would say we probably have a pretty big influence.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Um,
trying. But if I'm only gonna say it if it's the three of us. I want to plan that out ahead of time, at least so we can have our advice just kind of in one straight line for the captain.
I think it'd be a good idea.
So you guys go up the road. You kind of scout that out. You're
agree?
talking. Do you go back to the
Yes.
town?
Yeah,
or
I
are
say
you
we
just
go. We
okay.
go back to the town. We
So you
keep an
kind of
eye
head
out for
back to the
cows
town,
first.
and around the time, you travel back another 20 minutes. Around that time, you
Jaquan,
sense
yeah.
Jaquan reaching out to you,
Come on.
and you see through his eyes and hear like he has arrived, right? So you see like it's like GoPro vision, right? He's
Yeah.
like looking around and stuff, and you see the captain like looking and
I'm gonna say, am I in front of the captain right now?
yeah, and like people are like, what's going on? This is very strange.
Captain, what's his name?
Captain's, I don't remember. John.
Captain John, this is Olin from the 3 scouts you sent. We have reached the town, and it
You
is-
notice he's like surprised and then like relieved. He's like, okay.
We have we have reached the town, and it is not looking good. It seems as though about a week ago, maybe a little longer than a week, about 10 days ago, some force came through this town and destroyed it almost entirely and completely. The whole place is burnt down. Looks like what could have been like a barbarian raid, although there didn't seem to be any intentions outside of just destroying it. Nothing was looted that you would imagine would be looted.
Mention the bodies.
There are no bodies. We found some blood stains, but we did not find a single body. Actually, now that we're talking about bodies, we didn't see a single living thing on the premise. No animals. Even where there was food and grain, we did not see any raccoons or rats or any creatures like that.
So he's like looking at Jaquan and he's like, you said there was no evidence of looting, but the whole place was destroyed?
Yes.
He's like, wow, and like some of the other guards like that is very, that does not sound like something that the quotient would do. It would be the
Yeah.
opposite. The quotient would raid
Good
and
call.
loot and then leave everyone intact. Only killing anyone who resisted the raid. They don't typically, although they do sometimes capture and kidnap people and ransom them, but it's typically only if there's like nobles who are worth ransoming.
Yeah.
They don't really
There
do
is
that with
nothing.
commoners.
There's nothing.
He's like,
here.
but you said there are still like goods there, and it's
In the
not-
blacksmith, it is full of weapons and horseshoes and anything you'd like.
everything's destroyed.
Every-
The Anchor Well Inn, everything.
Yes.
Anchor Well Inn is very destroyed.
This is very bad. I'm glad that you scouted ahead. We obviously don't want to be anywhere near such a problem.
We did.
He goes, allow me to confer. He goes over to that front wagon, and like you see through Jaquan's eyes, Jaquan's like darting around looking at everything, and people are like pulling out stuff, and he pulls out like a map, and you see like there's a map, and he's kind of gesturing with some other people, and one of the shield maidens comes over, and they're like talking and nodding.
mention to him that it seemed like there were footsteps going southwest, and to try to avoid heading. So it'd be what, east? No.
One more thing,
Don't-
Captain. We did notice what seemed to be footsteps or a trail leading south,
West.
southwest.
So try to avoid.
But it didn't seem like a large enough force to have done this.
Just footprints, no horses, no nothing else.
No,
No.
nothing.
That's very odd. That doesn't make sense.
I know.
He's like, give us a few moments. We're looking at the map to determine if there's another place where we could rendezvous and avoid this. And you see him kind of like gesturing to stuff, and they're discussing things, and then he kind of looked back at Jaquan. He's like, can you see through this creature?
Yes,
He's like,
I can.
let me point this out to you on the map. And he's like pointing out a spot on the map. And you see he kind of points like north of the village. But still east, right? So he's like, there's a grove here on the map to the north, probably about 10 miles of where you are. And there's a small hill with a plateau near that grove. We will meet you there. We're going to leave the road. We're going to go off-road, so it's going to take us a few extra hours because we're going to be going over some hilly areas and
Yeah.
probably have to cross some wetlands, so it might take us a few extra hours. I'm hoping we would still get there, though, before dark. But at this point, you are not that far away, so
No.
you would be a lot closer if you wanted to go there and set up a camp there, and we will meet you there.
Okay.
We'll rendezvous with you there, hopefully around nightfall.
All right,
Okay.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
we'll head over there.
And then Jaquan out.
Okay.
Jaquan, you've been a good boy. Come back to Dad.
All right,
Where's
so you
he?
guys have searched pretty much everything in the town. Is there anything else you want to do, or what do you do? What do you choose to do?
Go
Again,
to the
it's, let's say that it's like middle of the afternoon, like 3 p.m., right? You're like at most an hour away from this hilltop that they're talking about meeting you at. Whereas they are like 3 to 4, maybe 5 hours away, depending on if their wagons get stuck in a
we
river.
didn't eat lunch, so I say we do that quickly. There's tons of grain and stuff here,
Yeah.
right? We could.
There's food in the inn.
I say we take
there are bottles
the
of
food
wine.
and
There's
the
like
weapons.
a cask of ale.
Let's have a little lunch, guys. Let's talk about, what we're
Talk
gonna
about
do.
life.
I say let's grab some stuff from that people have left around. Obviously the blacksmith, probably good to stock up on some knives and whatnot. I'm sure there's a couple bags lying around that we could take. Not to be, unempathetic, but let's make the best of the situation. Let's get some ale, eat, and then we'll get on our way.
Okay.
Bill, while after we eat and they're chatting and stuff, I'm gonna be practicing my scythe.
Okay.
Ooh, I wanna practice my rapier.
Bill, while I'm eating, I also want to practice my magical guitar. And I want to see if there's anything new that comes about with it.
Play a song. A gentle, quiet, sad song.
A sad song.
No, that's too romantic and lovely. This is a town that's been decimated, Tony. Something in a minor key.
Let me see it.
Yes. Sorrow. You guys are having a picnic and practicing your things in a town that's been decimated.
Sorry.
I just want to make sure you're on the same page.
Yeah.
While the smell of burning has dissipated in the last 7 to 10 days, it's still haunting that this abandoned place has no evidence of life,
It's sad.
other than the steps that you saw
Gone.
leading southwest towards those woods. But you spend a little time resting. You have some food, some hard, crunchy crackers, and you practice with your gifts from His Holiness Kor Paigambar. And then, what do you choose to do?
I would like to take my chalk, because I have chalk, and I want to draw on a wall. I want to draw
A penis.
A creative mural? A warning?
I want to draw a creative mural, a warning.
Okay. I'll let you make a creative check, which I'll let you add your wisdom or intelligence, you choose. There you go.
4.
It is the most mediocre mural. It looks like a child with a piece of chalk and a sidewalk. There's no creativity to it whatsoever.
I want to scratch it all out. I don't like it.
Okay. You scratch it all out.
All right. Right at the bottom.
Wait,
all right.
Bill.
Oh.
This is what I do. Well, Olin's, crafting his, Pablo Picasso as a 7-year-old, mural. I call to the sparrows, right? And I call them all over.
Okay, the
to me.
sparrows fly over to the edge of the town, and then they land, and they wait in the grass.
And I teach them.
And they look very nervous.
And I just teach them like a little haunting song to sing. And I go, sing this in order to memorize.
All the sparrows
commemorate.
leave, but a mourning dove comes by. I can't do it with my gum. Hold on. Pretty good, isn't it?
And I teach him the melody, and I tell him to sing it and to teach his children to sing it.
Okay,
So that
no
all
sparrows
can
come to
remember.
you, seriously.
Hey, whatever. The mourning dove comes over,
All
right?
right, the mourning dove comes over. It does a mourning dove noise, and then
Whatever.
it flies
You know
away.
what, Bill? You know what, Bill?
Tony, I'm going to let you make a roll.
Okay.
You
Make a
can
roll.
choose between animal handling or perception, but make a roll. Or, you know what? Insight. I'll even let you choose insight. You take your pick.
My animal handling is through the roof.
Okay.
It's great because I have a 5-way home. My animal handling is +4.
Okay, Tony, you sense that the bird was spooked, and you have no reason to understand why. You know animals, right?
Yeah.
You know when an animal gets spooked by a noise or by a human, right? Who's scaring it, because animals are defensive by nature. The way that this mourning dove was interacting with you initially was very friendly. And then, just seemingly out of the blue, it perked up, it looked behind it, and then it flew away.
All right,
like
so
there
I-
was a predator.
I alert the party. Oh my guys, something's going on. We need a book.
You don't see anything other
No.
than 100 yards of grass and then those woods.
So,
Okay, I want a book on the trip. I tell everybody, I'm like, hey guys, I was talking to that mourning bird over there, and it just ran like a hawk was just about to eat it alive.
okay. So I think we
So-
should head to where the captain wants us to go,
Yeah, now.
to rendezvous.
So grab everything we need.
At the bottom of my mirror.
Okay.
Bill, I grabbed the 2 nicest knives in that.
Okay.
What's
I grabbed the
nicest
rest of
knife
the
in that?
food.
There is a +5 magical dagger. I'm just kidding. Don't write that down. You grab 2 perfectly functional knives. And then, Elora, you encourage the crowd to head that way?
Yeah. I say, guys, let's go.
Okay. And so, you guys begin heading north towards the mountaintop. Not the mountaintop, the hilltop. You travel very uneventfully.
Any animals now?
Oh, yeah. Yep, birds, some rabbits. You see a deer.
I call the deer over.
There's a small creek that you guys just
Can
hop over, but you
I
see
call the
some
deer?
frogs.
So I
Yeah.
just ask,
I
I'm just
skip
like,
a
hey,
rock?
everything okay over here?
It's like, yeah, it's okay.
See anything odd out of the blue?
Nope. Just gonna graze on this grass. Yeah. Everything's very normal.
I hate deers. Deers are birds.
You guys travel, and in no time, seemingly no time, you arrive at this grove of trees,
Should we
and
get
then you
this
see a
back
hill. You kind of crawl up this hill,
Oh.
and there's a nice flat level area on the hill. Looks like it'd be a great place, and there's a couple trees, not like a grove, but just a couple for cover and shade. And one of them is a fig tree. There's figs, and actually they're ripe. You could pick them off the tree and eat them if you liked figs. And some birds hanging out. And looks like a nice place to camp. And in fact, from this hilltop, you can kind of see pretty far all around. And you see something flying towards you guys. It's very small.
Jaquan!
It is Jaquan. Jaquan arrives, and he flies up and lands on a tree and looks around.
Jaquan.
Yes, master.
Jaquan, I need you to do another thing for me.
Yes, master.
I need you to fly to the town that we were just previously at.
Yes.
And I need you to use your devilish senses to sense if something's weird, because something is weird there, and I need your professional opinion.
Okay, bye.
Yes, master.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Jaquan flies away.
We're not that far away, are we?
No. What do you guys do? You're sitting on the hilltop.
Oh,
You
and
can
I'm
see everything around you. Nothing out there but nice open land, gentle breeze, tall grasses swaying,
I
trees
sit
in the
down.
I'm gonna
distance.
tell.
I sit down with the pipe, right?
Mhm.
Kind of like over the shoulder. They're kind of like we're silhouetted on the hilltop. I light it carefully. I look at them and I go, "There's something off about this." I go, "It reminds me of my village."
And that is where we will end this episode of D&D with high school students.
You're welcome. You're
Nice one,
welcome.
Tony. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all of your support, everybody, and thank you for subscribing. Please make sure that if you're not subscribed, that you subscribe, because we appreciate that. And also, if you participate in any online communities related to gaming and you haven't already done so, go ahead and share our channel so that more people can know about this program that we're doing. And if you have any ideas or suggestions, please comment below, because we read them. And sometimes we do Feedback Friday and it's live, and we respond to some of the questions and criticisms that our fans post.
That's right.
Who said that they don't know what to do? Who said that forest gnomes don't have really big gongs? Who said you don't know?
If you don't believe me, just ask Hank.
Why would your pig know? That's horrible. He's a male pig, so you're basically just saying that you give your pig gnome gong.
We share a bed sometimes.
Things happen when people are sleeping.
No drink a lot. We're not recording that, are we?